Stop everything you're doing right now. This is not a test. This is not a drill. This is not just another spiritual message you can save for later. Within the next 10 hours, the reality you know will change. You need to be ready for the truth that is about to be revealed. The clock of heaven is ticking, counting down the final hours before the release of your miracle. And every second that passes brings you closer to the moment when everything that has been hidden will come to light. This is your prophetic countdown, your divine deadline, the exact moment when the invisible becomes visible and what was delayed for years manifests in hours. Pay attention, because what I'm about to tell you will determine whether you catch this wave of revelation or miss it completely. Time is a prophet, and right now, heaven's clock is marking the final hours for the liberation of your miracle. The truth that will be revealed is going to unmask every lie that has delayed you, every deception that has kept you in circles, every false narrative that has stolen your peace and your progress. For too long, you've been operating with partial information, incomplete vision, distorted facts that made you doubt yourself, doubt your calling, doubt even my faithfulness. But in the next 10 hours, a revelation so powerful is being released that it will shatter every illusion the enemy constructed around your life. The veil is being torn, the curtain is being pulled back, and what you're about to see will change everything you thought you knew about your situation. This message is exclusively for you, for the one who has been waiting, watching, hoping against hope that something would finally shift. You are not here by accident. The algorithm didn't randomly suggest this video. Your friend didn't coincidentally send you this link. Your restless spirit didn't just happen to lead you here at this exact moment. You were divinely directed to this word because within these 10 hours, heaven has scheduled your breakthrough, your vindication, your manifestation. And if you're feeling that quickening in your chest right now, that witness in your spirit that says, "This is for me," that's confirmation that you've arrived at the right place at the appointed time to receive what has your name written on it. Right now, as you read these words, I need you to do something prophetic. Leave your amen and your like to initiate the countdown of your blessing. This is not about boosting engagement metrics. This is about activating the spiritual clock that synchronizes your faith with heaven's timing. When you press that button, you're declaring in the realm of the Spirit that you're ready to receive, that you're positioning yourself for the revelation, that you're not going to let distractions steal these critical 10 hours from you. The enemy trembles when you take immediate action on prophetic instruction because he knows that obedience in small things activates breakthrough in big things. Don't hesitate. Don't overthink it. Just do it now and mark the beginning of your countdown to miracle manifestation. The 10 hours represent the time it takes for your miracle to cross the finish line. If you leave before the end of this message, the momentum necessary to carry the blessing all the way into your physical reality could be lost. Think of it like a relay race where the baton is being passed from the spiritual realm to the natural realm. If you drop it in the final stretch, you forfeit the victory you've been running toward for years. These aren't just random hours, they're prophetic hours, kairos hours, hours that carry the weight of eternity and the power to compress years of progress into a single day. Stay until the end to receive the key of anticipation that unlocks what has been locked, that reveals what has been concealed, that delivers what has been promised but delayed. I know exactly what you've been feeling, and I need you to understand that I see it all. You're exhausted from the prolonged waiting, aren't you? That specific fatigue that comes from being told it's almost there, over and over again, only to watch days turn into weeks, weeks into months, months into years, and still the miracle remains just out of reach. You've lived in the cruel space between promise and fulfillment for so long that you've almost forgotten what it feels like to actually receive something instead of just hoping for it. The weariness isn't just physical anymore, it's embedded in your soul, that deep tiredness that comes from keeping your expectations up when everything around you screams that you should just give up and accept that this is as good as it gets. I've watched you stand at the edge of breakthrough so many times, so close you could almost touch it, only to have it dissolve like morning mist the moment you reached out. The promotion that was definitely yours went to someone less qualified. The relationship that seemed heaven-sent revealed itself to be another painful lesson in discernment. The financial opportunity that appeared miraculous turned out to be another closed door with your hope crushed beneath it. And each time this happened, a little piece of your ability to trust died, didn't it? Each disappointment added another layer of protective cynicism, another wall between your heart and the possibility that maybe, just maybe, this time could be different. The sensation of being deceived has become your constant companion. You've experienced what I call false joy. Those moments when you genuinely believed this was finally it. When you let yourself celebrate prematurely. When you told people, God is doing something amazing, only to have to go back later with the humiliating explanation that it didn't work out after all. And now you're so afraid of looking foolish again, so terrified of being wrong one more time, that you don't even allow yourself to hope fully anymore. You keep your expectations low, your celebrations muted, your announcements private, because the pain of public disappointment has taught you that it's safer to expect nothing than to expect everything and receive emptiness. But there's an even more insidious attack happening beneath the surface of your conscious awareness. In the silence of your alone moments, there's a voice, a persistent, nagging, exhausting voice that constantly whispers doubt. It doesn't scream at you with obvious lies you could easily reject. No, it's far more subtle and therefore far more dangerous. It says things like, these 10 hours will pass and nothing will happen, just like all the other times. It reminds you of every failed prophecy, every unfulfilled promise, every countdown that ended in anticlimax. This persecution of doubt in the silence is designed to make you close this message before you reach the end, to make you dismiss this word as just another empty encouragement that will lead nowhere. You've also been fighting a battle for transparency that most people don't even know exists. There are things being said about you that aren't true, narratives being constructed behind your back that paint you in colors you don't recognize. Maybe it's gossip in your workplace that has poisoned the well of opportunity. Maybe it's family members who have spread rumors that damaged relationships you valued. Maybe it's an ex who has told a version of your shared story that makes you the villain when you know you were the victim. These lies, these secrets, these distortions of truth have created a fog around your life that obscures your path forward and keeps people who should be blessing you at a distance because they've been fed misinformation about who you really are. The weight of living under false accusation is crushing in ways that only those who've experienced it can understand. You can't defend yourself without looking defensive. You can't correct the record without appearing petty. You can't address the lies without giving them more attention and power. So you've been forced to walk in integrity while your reputation is being assassinated, to stay faithful while being called faithless, to remain kind while being characterized as cruel. And the worst part is that some of these lies have started to make you question yourself. When enough people believe a false narrative about you, you begin to wonder if maybe there's some truth to it after all, if maybe you're not who you thought you were. I need you to hear this with every fiber of your being. Your persistence in praying, even while watching the clock, is exactly what accelerated this countdown. Faith is not passive waiting, where you sit with folded hands, hoping something drops from heaven. Faith is waiting in movement, hoping in action, believing while doing. Every time you prayed when you didn't feel like it, every time you worshipped when worship was the last thing your emotions wanted to do, every time you declared promises when your circumstances contradicted them, you were winding the clock, accelerating the countdown, bringing the manifestation closer. Your attitude of persistence proved to heaven that you're ready for the truth, because you didn't let the delay turn you into a cynic or a quitter. I know something about you that you think is hidden. I know you've been reviewing the calendar, mentally counting how long it's been since you saw a real, tangible, undeniable change in your situation. You've been marking time, haven't you? Tracking the months and years since the last breakthrough, comparing your current position to where you were last year at this time, trying to find evidence that you're actually moving forward and not just running in place. I saw you do it recently. Pull up the calendar app or flip through your planner, looking for proof that God is still working, that progress is actually happening, that you haven't been forgotten or left behind while everyone else advances. But here's what you don't know. While you were reviewing the calendar, I was reviewing my book of remembrance. And in that book, I have recorded something you did recently that activated the release of this truth. I saw your decision not to retaliate when you had the perfect opportunity and justification to strike back. Someone hurt you, betrayed you, spoke against you, or sabotaged you, and you had the receipts, the platform, and the righteousness to expose them and make them pay. But you chose restraint instead of revenge. You chose silence instead of slander. You chose forgiveness instead of feeding the feud. That decision, that secret act of obedience that nobody witnessed, that sacrifice of your right to justice that nobody applauded, that choice to trust me with your vindication instead of taking it into your own hands, is precisely why the truth is coming to set you free within these 10 hours. You see, when you released your need to expose others, you gave me permission to expose the truth on your behalf. When you refused to defend your reputation, you authorized me to defend it with power that human words could never match. Your restraint in that moment was the key that unlocked the countdown you're in right now. I also saw those prayers you've been praying in secret, the ones where you stopped asking for specific outcomes and started asking for truth, whatever that truth might be. You've reached a level of maturity where you don't just want the blessing, you want reality. You don't just want relief, you want revelation. You don't just want your situation to change, you want to understand what's actually happening behind the scenes. And that hunger for truth, that willingness to see reality even if it's uncomfortable, that desire for clarity over comfort, is what qualified you to receive what's coming in these next hours. There have been mornings when you woke up and immediately felt the weight of unanswered questions pressing on your chest. Questions like, why is this taking so long? What am I doing wrong? Is there something I'm not seeing? Who can I really trust? What's my next move supposed to be? These aren't the questions of someone who's given up. These are the questions of someone who's desperately seeking truth so they can move forward with confidence. I've heard every one of those questions, and I've been preparing an answer so comprehensive, so clarifying, so liberating that when you receive it, years of confusion will dissolve in moments. I know about the nights when you've lain awake, mind racing, trying to make sense of contradictory information, mixed signals, and confusing circumstances. You've replayed conversations, analyzed behaviors, searched for clues, trying to decode what's really happening in your relationships, your career, your finances, your calling. You've felt like you're trying to put together a puzzle without having all the pieces, or worse, like someone has given you pieces from different puzzles that don't actually fit together. That cognitive dissonance, that mental exhaustion from trying to reconcile conflicting realities, is about to end, because the truth brings clarity, and clarity brings peace. You've been living in a fog of partial information for so long that you've almost normalized it. You've gotten used to making decisions with incomplete data, moving forward without full visibility, trusting people without complete certainty of their intentions. And while that faith in the midst of uncertainty is admirable, it was never meant to be your permanent condition. There's a difference between walking by faith and walking in darkness. Faith sees the invisible, but it's not the same as being kept in the dark through deception, manipulation, or withheld information. And what's about to be revealed will show you exactly where you've been walking by faith and where you've simply been kept in the dark by forces that didn't want you to see clearly. I know you're afraid to hope again. I know that even as you read these words, there's a part of you that's building a defense mechanism, preparing for the possibility that these 10 hours will pass and nothing will happen, just like so many other prophetic words that seemed powerful in the moment but produced nothing in the aftermath. That's the trauma of repeated disappointment speaking, and I don't judge you for it, but I'm asking you to do something brave right now. Give me these 10 hours without the protective cynicism, without the emotional hedging, without the backup plan for when it doesn't work out. Trust me one more time, not because I've never disappointed you before, but because this time is different in ways you're about to discover. The weariness you feel, the skepticism you carry, the walls you've built around your heart, all of it is valid based on what you've experienced. But none of it changes what I'm about to do. Your doubt doesn't cancel my promise. Your fear doesn't derail my plan. Your exhaustion doesn't diminish my power. In the next hours, I'm going to prove to you that I see what you've been through. I know what you need. And I'm faithful even when everything in your experience suggests otherwise. The truth that's coming will not just change your circumstances. It will restore your ability to trust, to hope, to believe that good things can actually happen to you and not just to other people. You're suffering through the prolonged wait, through the false alarms, through the attacks of doubt, through the battle for your reputation. All of it was preparation for what's coming. You needed to be refined to a point where you could handle the truth without misusing it, where you could receive clarity without becoming arrogant, where you could be vindicated without becoming vengeful. The fire you've walked through burned away the impurities that would have corrupted the blessing. And now, tested and proven, you're ready to receive what I've been holding back until the perfect moment, which is now, within these 10 hours that will change everything you thought you knew about your situation. I need you to understand something critical about what's happening in this very moment. There's a calculated attack underway to steal these 10 hours from you. The enemy knows exactly what I'm about to reveal. And his absolute terror right now is palpable because he understands that if you make it to the end of this message and receive the full truth, his entire operation against your life collapses instantly. He's not afraid of your general faith in God. He can work around that. He's not worried about your church attendance or your Bible reading. He's learned to coexist with religious activity that doesn't produce breakthrough. What terrifies him to his core is you receiving specific revelation about what's really happening behind the scenes, because that kind of targeted truth destroys years of carefully constructed deception in a single moment. The enemy's primary tactic against you right now is what I call chronic doubt, combined with mass distraction. He's flooding your mind with a very specific lie. These 10 hours will pass, and absolutely nothing will happen. Just like every other time you got your hopes up. He's reminding you of every prophetic word that seemed anointed but produced nothing. He's replaying in your memory every countdown that ended in disappointment, every deadline that came and went without the promised breakthrough, every "this is your season" message that proved to be premature. And he's doing this not just to discourage you, but to get you to close this message before you reach the information that will dismantle his entire strategy against your destiny. But here's what makes this attack even more sophisticated. He's not just using obvious distractions like temptations or clear spiritual warfare. He's using what appears to be legitimate urgencies. A work email that needs immediate attention, a family member who suddenly needs to talk right now, a notification that makes you think something important requires your response this very second, a physical discomfort that makes you want to get up and move around, a mental tangent that pulls your focus away from these words. All of these seemingly innocent interruptions are being orchestrated with military precision to fragment your attention during these critical 10 hours. Every second of divided focus is a victory for the forces trying to keep you from receiving the revelation that's been prepared specifically for you. The chronic doubt operating in your mind right now is not your intuition warning you to be careful. It's a planted thought designed to make you self-sabotage. There's a difference between healthy discernment and the toxic skepticism that's been programmed into you through repeated disappointment. The enemy has weaponized your past pain, turning your disappointed hopes into a fortress of unbelief that now blocks you from receiving your future breakthrough. He took every time you were let down and used it as construction material to build a wall in your mind that says, don't believe it, don't receive it, don't hope for it, because you'll just be hurt again. And that wall has to come down in these 10 hours, or it will block what's trying to reach you. I want you to recognize something crucial about timing. The enemy didn't attack you this intensely when you were just going through the motions of faith. He didn't need to. But now, as you approach the actual moment of breakthrough, the warfare has escalated exponentially. If you've noticed that the last few days or even hours have been unusually chaotic, unusually heavy, unusually filled with obstacles and opposition, that's not coincidence, that's confirmation. The enemy only fights this hard when he's about to lose something significant. Your increased struggle is actually evidence that your breakthrough is imminent, that these 10 hours are real, that what I'm about to reveal is so powerful that hell had to mobilize everything it has to try to stop you from hearing it. The truth about your situation has been deliberately hidden from you by forces that benefit from your confusion. Think about it. As long as you don't know what's really happening, as long as you can't see the full picture, as long as critical information is being withheld from you, you can't move forward with confidence and authority. Ignorance isn't bliss, it's bondage. And there are people, systems, and spiritual entities that have a vested interest in keeping you in the dark, because your clarity threatens their control. Some of these are human agents, people in your life who have fed you partial truths or outright lies because full disclosure would expose their manipulation. Others are demonic principalities that have assigned confusion and deception to your case because they know that the moment you see clearly, their power over you evaporates. The withholding of truth has kept you in cycles of self-doubt and second-guessing. You've been making decisions based on incomplete or false information, and then wondering why the results keep being disappointing. You've been trying to solve problems without understanding their real source. You've been treating symptoms instead of root causes because the root causes were hidden from your view. You've been fighting visible enemies while the real adversaries operated invisibly, and you've been blaming yourself for not figuring it out when the reality is that you've been working with a rigged deck. Playing a game where the rules were never fully explained to you, navigating a maze while being fed a false map. But within these 10 hours, the information blackout ends. The truth that's about to be revealed will expose who has been lying to you and why. It will show you what opportunities were deliberately hidden from you and by whom. It will unveil the schemes that were designed to keep you small, confused, and ineffective. And most importantly, it will give you the clarity you need to finally move forward with power, precision, and prophetic authority. This isn't just about feeling better or getting encouraged. This is about receiving intelligence from the throne room that changes your entire strategic position in the battles you've been fighting. The enemy knows that you're in the final stretch, and he's throwing everything he has at you to make you quit before you cross the line. Think of a runner who has run 26 miles of a marathon and gives up in the final 200 meters because the pain is too intense and the finish line seems too far. That's what the enemy is trying to get you to do right now. Abandon the race in the last stretch after you've already done the hardest work. He doesn't need you to renounce your faith entirely. He just needs you to close this message, to dismiss this word, to decide that this probably isn't for me anyway, and move on to something else. That small act of disengagement is all he needs to delay your breakthrough for months or even years. Your adversary has studied your patterns, and he knows exactly when you tend to check out mentally. He knows how long you typically engage with content before your attention wanders. He knows what kind of thoughts make you dismiss something as too good to be true. He knows which doubts have the most power over you, and he's deploying all of that knowledge right now, in this moment, to get you to stop reading before you receive the key information that unlocks everything. But here's what he doesn't know. He doesn't know that this time you're going to push through the resistance. He doesn't know that this time you're going to silence the doubts. He doesn't know that this time you're desperate enough and hungry enough for truth that you won't let distraction steal your miracle. The anxiety you're feeling right now, that sense of urgency mixed with uncertainty, that nervous energy that makes you want to do something, but you're not sure what, is actually a spiritual battle manifesting in your emotional realm. The enemy is trying to create enough internal chaos that you can't focus on what I'm saying. He's trying to make you so uncomfortable that you'll seek relief by disengaging rather than pushing through to break through. But I need you to recognize that discomfort for what it is. Not a sign that you're in the wrong place, but confirmation that you're in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. And the forces of darkness are panicking because they're about to lose their grip on your situation. These 10 hours are not arbitrary, they're prophetic, they're specific. They're loaded with significance. In the invisible realm, there's an actual countdown happening. Angels are positioning themselves. Demonic assignments are being revoked. People who have information you need are being prepared to contact you or cross your path. Circumstances are being aligned. Doors are being unlocked. And all of this is happening on a divine timetable that culminates within the window of time I've given you. But if you disengage now, if you let the doubt or distraction win, the momentum stops, the countdown pauses, and you'll have to wait for another appointed time that may be months away. I want you to look at what's happened just in the time since you started reading this message. Have you had random thoughts pull at your attention? Has your phone buzzed with notifications? Have you thought about getting up to do something else? Have doubts about whether this is real started creeping in? All of that is the enemy's playbook in action. He's not subtle right now because he doesn't have time to be subtle. He's desperate, and his desperation is your confirmation. A defeated enemy doesn't fight this hard. A powerless opposition doesn't mobilize this many distractions. The very intensity of the warfare you're experiencing in your mind right now is proof that what you're about to receive in the remaining sections of this message is so valuable, so powerful, so threatening to the kingdom of darkness that they're pulling out all the stops to prevent you from getting it. Here's the reality you need to grasp. The next sections of this message contain the specific truth that's been hidden from you. The revelation about what's really happening in your situation, the exposure of who's been working against you, the clarity about your next steps, the timeline for your breakthrough. Everything you've been asking God to show you is about to be answered, but you have to make it to the end. You have to silence the voice that says, "This is probably nothing." You have to resist the pull of distraction. You have to push through the discomfort of staying focused. Because on the other side of this resistance is the information that changes everything, the truth that sets you free, the revelation that positions you for the manifestation you've been waiting for all these years. The moment has arrived for the great revelation, and I need every ounce of your attention focused on what I'm about to declare over your life. What you're about to hear is not speculation, not possibility, not hopeful thinking. This is the truth that has been hidden from you, and within the next 10 hours, it will manifest in your tangible reality in ways that will leave no room for doubt. The miracle you're receiving is called accelerated revelation, and immediate liberation. This is not a slow unfolding over months or years. This is rapid-fire exposure of what's been concealed, followed by instant breaking of the obstacles that have held you back. The truth that's coming will hit your situation like lightning, illuminating everything in a single flash. And what you see will change your entire understanding of where you are and where you're going. Listen carefully to what I'm decreeing. Within these 10 hours, a truth so crucial, so transformative, so liberating will be revealed to you that it will feel like scales falling from your eyes. Something you couldn't see before will suddenly become crystal clear. Someone's true intentions will be exposed beyond any shadow of doubt. A hidden opportunity that's been right in front of you but obscured will suddenly become visible. A piece of information about your finances, your health, or your relationships that's been deliberately withheld will come to light through an unexpected source. This revelation will not come through your usual channels. It will come through an unexpected messenger, someone or something you weren't looking to for answers, but who carries the exact information you need. The scope of this revelation covers 3 critical areas of your life, and the truth in each area will unlock what's been locked. First, in the area of your identity and honor. There are lies being told about you, narratives being spread behind your back that have damaged your reputation and closed doors that should be open to you. Within these 10 hours, the truth will unmask who has been slandering you and why. Their motivations will be exposed. Their deceptions will be brought to light, and your reputation will be publicly restored, not through your own defense, but through divine vindication. People who believed the lies will receive undeniable evidence of the truth, and those who spread the falsehoods will be exposed in ways that leave no room for them to maintain their credibility. Second, in the area of your finances. There is something about your financial situation that you don't currently know. A resource that's available but hidden. An opportunity that exists but has been kept from you. A debt that's not actually valid. Or a source of provision that's about to open but you haven't been able to see it because critical information has been withheld. The truth about this financial matter will come to light within these 10 hours. And when it does, it will unlock prosperity that's been blocked. This could be a phone call revealing an unexpected inheritance, an email about a job opportunity that's perfect for you, a discovery of an error in your favor, or information about a legal settlement or refund you didn't know you were entitled to. Third, in the area of direction and clarity. You've been confused about your next steps, uncertain about major decisions, unclear about whether to stay or go, to speak or be silent, to pursue or release. This confusion has not been random. It's been deliberately engineered by an enemy who knows that if you see clearly, you'll move powerfully. Within these 10 hours, you will receive a clarity so precise, a word of knowledge so specific, a direction so unmistakable that all confusion will evaporate instantly. You'll know exactly what to do next, exactly who to trust, exactly which door to walk through, and exactly what to say no to. This clarity will eliminate years of second-guessing in a single moment of revelation. Now let me show you what's happening in the backstage of heaven while you're reading these words. The truth is being released through an unexpected messenger, and that messenger is being prepared right now to make contact with you. This could be a phone call from someone you haven't heard from in years who has information you need. It could be an email that arrives in the next hours with details that change everything. It could be a conversation with a stranger who says something that unlocks the puzzle you've been trying to solve. It could be a document you stumble upon that reveals critical facts. It could even be a dream or vision so vivid and clear that when you wake up, you'll know exactly what you're supposed to do. The method is less important than the message. What matters is that within these 10 hours, information will reach you that you absolutely need, and that's been kept from you until now. The enemy's plan to delay your manifestation has been completely disintegrated. Every scheme he constructed to keep you in the dark, every conspiracy to withhold information from you, every strategy to maintain your confusion has been exposed in the courts of heaven and ruled null and void. The demonic assignments that were specifically tasked with creating fog around your situation have been removed from their posts and replaced with angels of revelation who are now working to bring light to every dark corner of your circumstances. The spiritual principality that's been blocking truth from reaching you has been bound and is being dragged away from your life as I speak these words. I am realigning the pointers of your clock so that these 10 hours will function as 10 years of advancement. What should have taken you a decade to discover, you'll know in hours. What should have required years of trial and error, you'll understand through immediate revelation. What should have been a slow, painful process of elimination, you'll receive as instant clarity. This is supernatural acceleration, where time itself bends to my purposes and compresses years of progress into a prophetic window of hours. You're not just receiving information, you're receiving quantum leaps of understanding that will catapult you past obstacles that would have taken years to navigate the normal way. The truth that's coming will do more than inform you. It will transform you. When you see clearly what's been happening behind the scenes, when you understand the real dynamics of your situation, when you know who's really been working for you and who's been working against you, your entire approach will change. You'll stop wasting energy on dead-end pursuits. You'll stop trusting people who don't deserve your trust. You'll stop second-guessing decisions that are actually correct. You'll stop entertaining options that were never really viable. And you'll start moving with the confidence that comes from operating with complete information instead of partial data. Within these hours, phone calls are being placed that you don't know about yet. Emails are being written that haven't landed in your inbox yet. Conversations are happening in rooms you're not in that will directly benefit you. Documents are being processed that have your name on them. People are having thoughts about you that will lead them to reach out with opportunities. Circumstances are shifting in ways you can't see yet, but will become evident very soon. All of this is the machinery of heaven working in the invisible realm to bring the truth to light in your visible realm. And the manifestation of all this activity will begin to show up in your physical reality within this prophetic countdown. The liberation that comes with this truth will be immediate, not gradual. The moment you know what you need to know, chains will snap. The instant you see what you need to see, doors will swing open. The second you understand what you need to understand, paths will clear. This isn't a slow unwinding of bondage. This is sudden breaking of what's been holding you. It's like a prisoner who's been in a cell with an unlocked door for years but didn't know it wasn't locked. And the moment someone tells them the door is open, they walk out into freedom immediately. The truth is the information that the door has been open, and the liberation is the immediate walking out that follows that revelation. I need you to understand that this truth has been fighting to reach you for a long time, but it's been blocked by forces that didn't want you to have it. Every time you were about to discover something important, a distraction arose. Every time someone tried to tell you something you needed to know, interference prevented the message from getting through clearly. Every time you were close to connecting the dots, something happened to scatter your focus. But those blocking mechanisms have been removed. Those interference patterns have been dismantled, and the pathway is now clear for the truth to reach you without obstruction. The unexpected messenger who will deliver this truth may not look like what you expect. Don't dismiss the message because you underestimate the messenger. God has a history of using unlikely sources to deliver critical information. A donkey spoke prophetic truth to Balaam. A pagan king issued the decree that freed the Israelites. A little girl told Naaman where to find his healing. The person or circumstance that brings you the information you need may surprise you. may even shock you, but don't let the packaging cause you to miss the content. Pay attention to everything and everyone in these 10 hours, because any of them could be the carrier of the revelation that changes everything. When the truth comes, and it will come within this window, your first response might be shock, then anger, then grief over the time you lost operating with false information. That's natural, and I don't condemn those emotions. But don't camp there. Move quickly from the shock of what you didn't know to the power of what you now do know. Use the truth as a weapon to demolish the strongholds that were built on lies. Use the clarity as a compass to navigate directly to your destination instead of wandering in circles. Use the revelation as fuel to accelerate into the next phase of your journey with velocity that makes up for lost time. This truth will also reveal who your real allies are. Some people you thought were for you will be exposed as having worked against you, and that will hurt. But simultaneously, some people you overlooked or undervalued will be revealed as having been protecting you, praying for you, and positioning things in your favor without you even knowing. The clarity will be painful in some ways and deeply encouraging in others. But ultimately, it will leave you in a much stronger position, because you'll know exactly who and what you're working with, and you'll stop being vulnerable to hidden agendas and secret opposition. The 10-hour window is not a gimmick. It's a genuine prophetic timeline. From the moment you started reading this message, the countdown began in the spiritual realm. Within this window, watch for the signs. Pay attention to your phone, your email, your conversations, your environment. Stay alert spiritually. Ask the Holy Spirit to heighten your discernment so you don't miss the revelation when it comes. It might be subtle at first, like a puzzle piece that suddenly makes the whole picture clear, or it might be obvious and undeniable, like a message that explicitly tells you what you've been needing to know. Either way, the truth is coming for you, and when it arrives, you'll recognize it because it will resonate with your spirit at a depth that confirms its divine origin. The manifestation you've been waiting for has been held up not by God's reluctance, but by your lack of necessary information. The blessing has been ready, but you've been missing a key piece of data required to step into it. Within these hours, that missing piece arrives, and the moment it does, everything that's been on hold will be released. It's like a legal document that can't be processed because it's missing a signature, and the instant that signature is added, the whole thing moves forward immediately. The truth is the final piece of information needed to release what's been prepared for you, and its arrival triggers immediate manifestation of what's been waiting in the wings. Lift up your head right now, because your liberation is not coming, it's here. The truth is already in motion toward you. The unexpected messenger is already being positioned. The revelation is already forming. And within this prophetic window of 10 hours, it will break into your conscious awareness with force and clarity that eliminates all doubt, all confusion, all uncertainty. You're about to know what you need to know, see what you need to see, and understand what you need to understand. And that knowledge, that sight, that understanding will set you free from the bondage of ignorance, deception, and manipulation. Your time of operating in the dark is over. Your season of clarity has begun, and it's beginning right now, within these next hours that will change the trajectory of your entire life. Now hear my voice with the full weight of authority that belongs to the one who holds all truth in his hands. I am not a counselor offering suggestions. I am the commander issuing decrees. I am not a bystander observing your struggle from a distance. I am the judge who enters the courtroom of your life and pronounces verdicts that cannot be appealed or overturned. And in this moment, from my throne of absolute justice and perfect knowledge, I am speaking irrevocable sentences over every area of your life that has been held captive by lies, deception, and hidden agendas. These are not empty religious platitudes designed to make you feel better temporarily. These are legal declarations in the courts of heaven that carry the full force of eternity and activate immediate change in your reality. I decree the immediate exposure of every lie that has been told about you, every false narrative that has been constructed to damage your reputation, every slanderous word that has been spoken behind your back. Within these 10 hours, the truth about these matters will come to light in ways that leave no room for doubt or debate. Those who have maligned you will be exposed not through your defense, but through circumstances that reveal their dishonesty. Evidence will surface that vindicates you completely. Witnesses will come forward with information that contradicts the lies. The truth will emerge through channels you didn't orchestrate and couldn't have manipulated, so that when your name is cleared, everyone will know it was divine intervention and not human maneuvering. Your honor is being restored right now, and the restoration will be public, undeniable, and permanent. I break every scheme of financial deception that has operated against you. I shatter every hidden agenda that has kept resources from reaching you. I expose every person or system that has profited from your ignorance or withheld information that would have benefited you financially. Within these 10 hours, the truth about your financial situation will be revealed. Money that's owed to you will be acknowledged. Opportunities that have been hidden from you will be disclosed. Errors that have worked against you will be discovered and corrected, and sources of provision that exist but you couldn't see will suddenly become visible. I command that every financial door that was closed through deception be opened through revelation, and that abundance flow to you from directions you never anticipated. I demolish the structures of confusion that have been built in your mind to keep you paralyzed and uncertain. Those strongholds of indecision, those fortresses of second guessing, those towers of doubt about your next steps, all of them are coming down right now. The fog that has obscured your path is being lifted. The smoke screens that have hidden your options are being blown away. The mirrors that have distorted your perception of reality are being shattered. Within these 10 hours, you will receive clarity so piercing, direction so specific, understanding so complete that you will wonder how you ever couldn't see what's now so obvious. The confusion was never your fault. It was a weapon used against you, and that weapon is being destroyed at this moment. I restore every relationship that was damaged by lies and misunderstandings. I heal every connection that was severed because someone spread false information. I rebuild every bridge that was burned because truth was withheld and accusations were believed. Where there has been division based on deception, I decree reconciliation based on revelation. Where there has been alienation rooted in lies, I pronounce reunion grounded in truth. The people who were turned against you by false narratives will receive information that corrects the record, and hearts that were hardened by misinformation will be softened by the exposure of reality. Not every relationship will be restored. Some were toxic and needed to end, but those that were genuine and were damaged by enemy interference will be healed and made stronger than before. In the area of your health, I speak directly to any medical situation where you've been given incomplete information, misdiagnosed, or mistreated because the full truth about your condition was not known or was deliberately hidden. I decree that within these 10 hours, revelation will come about the true nature of what you're dealing with and the real solution that will work. This could come through a test result that changes everything, a second opinion that contradicts the first, information about a treatment option you didn't know existed, or divine healing that makes all medical intervention irrelevant. The truth about your health situation will emerge, and with that truth comes the pathway to wholeness that's been obscured until now. I command that every person who has been operating against you in secret be exposed within this window of time. Those who smiled to your face while undermining you behind your back will be revealed. Those who pretended to support you while sabotaging you in hidden ways will be unmasked. Those who acted as friends while reporting your confidences to your enemies will be disclosed. This exposure is not for the purpose of revenge, but for the purpose of protection. You cannot guard yourself against threats you can't identify, and you cannot remove toxic people from positions of influence if you don't know who they are. The revelation of who's really been against you will be painful, but ultimately liberating, because it will free you to build your future with people who are genuinely for you. Now hear the authority of my word that never fails and never returns void. In John 8, verse 32, I declared, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. This promise is being activated for you right now. The knowing is coming, the specific, detailed, undeniable knowing of what's real, what's true, what's actually happening. And with that knowing comes immediate freedom from the bondage of deception. You've been imprisoned not by circumstances themselves, but by false information about those circumstances. The truth unlocks the cell, breaks the chains, and opens the door to walk out of captivity into liberty. And this liberation happens the instant the truth is received, not gradually over time. In Habakkuk 2, verse 3, my word promises, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak, and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Your appointed time is now. These 10 hours are the end that the prophet spoke about, the culmination of the waiting, the moment when what was promised manifests, the instant when the vision becomes reality. It has tarried, yes, and your patience has been tested to its limits. But the tarrying is over, the appointed time has arrived, and what comes in this window will not lie. It will be truth, pure truth, liberating truth that changes everything. Psalm 90, verse 12 instructs, so teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. I am teaching you to number these specific hours because they are prophetically significant. This is not about creating false urgency or manipulating you with artificial deadlines. This is about recognizing that there are moments in time when heaven's activity is concentrated, when the spiritual realm is particularly active in your situation, when the conditions are perfectly aligned for breakthrough. These 10 hours are such a moment. Wisdom recognizes the season and responds accordingly. Foolishness misses the moment because it's too skeptical or too distracted to engage when the door is actually open. Right now, I want you to do something that seals what we've discussed. Go to the comments and write 10 hours and the truth reaches me. This is not a superstitious ritual. This is a prophetic declaration that activates your faith and aligns your expectation with my promise. When you write those words publicly, you're making a covenant statement that you believe what I've said, that you're positioning yourself to receive what I've promised, and that you're giving me permission to bring the revelation in whatever form I choose. Your written word has power because it's a testimony in the earthly realm that corresponds with the decree I've already made in the heavenly realm. And when heaven and earth agree, manifestation is inevitable and immediate. I also command you to stay in a posture of vigilant expectation for these next hours. Don't just go back to your normal routine and forget what you've heard. Stay alert. Pay attention to your phone. The call or message that brings the information you need could come at any moment. Watch your email. The communication that changes everything could arrive in your inbox. Listen carefully in conversations. Someone might say something casually that's actually the key you've been looking for. Notice your environment. The truth might be hidden in plain sight, and you'll see it now that your eyes have been opened to look for it. This is not paranoia, this is prophetic awareness, and it's required to catch the revelation when it comes. I break every agreement you've made, consciously or unconsciously, with the spirit of confusion and the demon of deception. Some of you have unknowingly given permission for these entities to operate in your life through patterns of believing lies, through habits of assuming the worst, through agreements with negative narratives about yourself. I cancel those agreements now. I revoke those permissions. I close those doors. And I decree that from this moment forward, truth has free access to your mind, your heart, and your understanding, while lies are blocked at every entrance and have no landing place in your thoughts or beliefs. The truth that's coming to you is not just informational, it's transformational. It won't just add to what you know, it will change how you see. It won't just answer your questions, it will transform your perspective. It won't just solve your immediate problem, it will give you a framework for navigating future challenges with wisdom you didn't have before. This revelation carries an anointing that breaks the yoke of ignorance permanently, not just temporarily. Once you see what you're about to see, you can't unsee it. Once you know what you're about to know, you can't unknow it. And that permanent shift in your awareness is what guarantees that you won't fall back into the same traps and patterns that have held you captive until now. Now, I want to take you into the future that awaits you on the other side of this revelation. The reward that's reserved for those who pushed through the doubt and stayed until the truth was revealed. I'm not talking about minor improvements that barely make a difference in your daily life. I'm talking about a complete transformation so radical, so comprehensive, so undeniable that when you look back at this moment 6 months from now, you'll recognize it as the hinge on which your entire life turned. The glory that's coming is proportional to the darkness you've been walking through, and since you've been operating in deep confusion and deception, the clarity and liberation that's about to be yours will be blinding in its brightness, overwhelming in its completeness, and permanent in its effect. The truth that's being revealed within these 10 hours will not just free you temporarily, it will position you permanently in a place of advantage. Once you know what you're about to know, you'll never again be vulnerable to the same deceptions that held you captive. Once you see who's really who, you'll never again waste your time, energy, or resources on people who are secretly working against you. Once you understand the real dynamics of your situation, you'll never again make decisions based on false assumptions or incomplete data. This revelation creates a foundation of reality that cannot be shaken by future lies, because you'll have learned to recognize the difference between truth and deception, between genuine and counterfeit, between what's real and what's merely appearing to be real. Public vindication is coming in ways that will shock you and silence your critics. All those who spoke against you, who questioned your character, who spread rumors about your integrity, who planted seeds of doubt about your motives, they will witness with their own eyes the evidence that proves they were wrong. Your name will be cleared not through your defensive arguments, but through undeniable facts that emerge without your manipulation. The truth will speak louder than their lies ever did, and it will speak in forums and through channels that carry more weight than your personal testimony ever could. And when the vindication comes, some of those who slandered you will be so ashamed that they'll avoid you, while others will approach you with apologies that reveal just how wrong they were. The honor you'll receive after this revelation will be substantial and strategic. Doors that were closed because of misinformation about you will swing open when the truth is known. Opportunities that were denied because of lies will suddenly become available when the facts are revealed. People who avoided you because they believed false narratives will seek you out when they learn the reality. And this isn't just about restoring what you lost. This is about gaining access to levels you've never reached before, because the truth about who you really are, what you're really capable of, and what you're really called to do will position you in spaces that were never available to you when people were operating with false information. Your testimony is about to become one of the most powerful weapons in your arsenal. When you tell the story of how God exposed the lies, revealed the truth, and set you free within a 10-hour window, people who are trapped in similar situations of deception and confusion will find hope. Your experience of rapid revelation and immediate liberation will become evidence for others that God still does miracles, that truth still has power, that lies don't have to win, and that confusion doesn't have to be permanent. The impact of your testimony will extend far beyond your personal circle. It will touch lives you'll never meet in person, influence people you'll never know by name, and create ripple effects that will last for generations. The clarity you're receiving will establish a legacy of wisdom in your family line. Your children won't have to learn through the same painful trial and error process you went through, because you'll be able to teach them from your experience how to recognize deception, how to seek truth, how to verify information, how to trust, but also verify. Your grandchildren will benefit from the discernment you've developed through this season of being deceived and then delivered. The generational pattern of being easily misled, of trusting the wrong people, of believing lies too readily. That pattern is being broken with you, and what's being established in its place is a heritage of wisdom, discernment, and the courage to demand truth even when lies are more comfortable. Peace will return to your home and your heart in ways you'd almost forgotten were possible. The chaos that comes from not knowing who to trust, not knowing what's real, not knowing what to believe, that chaos is about to be replaced by the settled assurance that comes from operating with accurate information. When you know the truth, you can rest. When you see clearly, you can sleep soundly. When you understand what's really happening, you can make plans with confidence. The anxiety that's been your constant companion because you couldn't get solid ground under your feet, that anxiety will dissolve when the truth gives you a foundation that doesn't shift with every new piece of conflicting information. I want you to connect your past perseverance through confusion with your present reward of clarity. Every time you kept seeking truth when it would have been easier to just accept the lies and stop fighting for clarity, you were sowing seeds of revelation that are now producing a harvest of understanding. Every time you refused to make peace with deception, every time you insisted there had to be more to the story than what you were being told, every time you felt in your spirit that something wasn't right, even when you couldn't prove it, those were acts of faith that activated this breakthrough. Your refusal to settle for partial truth, your hunger for complete understanding, your unwillingness to build your life on a foundation of lies, all of that positioned you to receive what you're receiving now. The information you're about to receive will do more than answer old questions. It will prevent future problems. When you understand the patterns of how deception operated in your past, you'll be able to recognize those patterns when they try to repeat in your future. When you see clearly how people manipulated information to control you before, you'll spot those same tactics immediately if anyone tries to use them again. When you know what red flags you missed previously, you'll never miss them again. This revelation doesn't just fix what was broken, it immunizes you against future breaking of the same kind. You're not just being healed, you're being equipped to stay healthy. There will be moments in the coming days when the full impact of the truth hits you in waves. First will come relief, the immediate freedom of finally knowing what's real. Then will come anger, the natural response to realizing how long you were deceived and how much it cost you. Then will come grief, the sadness over time lost, relationships damaged, and opportunities missed because you were operating with false information. All of these reactions are valid, and I won't judge you for any of them. But I encourage you to move through them quickly and not camp in any of them, because on the other side of that emotional processing is a place of powerful, clear-headed action where you use what you now know to build what's next with precision and confidence. The truth about who has really been for you and who has really been against you will reorganize your entire relational world. Some people you've been close to will need to be distanced because the revelation will show you they're not safe. Some people you've kept at arm's length will need to be brought closer because you'll discover they've been more loyal than you realized. Some relationships you thought were solid will prove to be superficial when tested by truth. Some connections you assumed were casual will reveal themselves to be divinely strategic when you see how God has used them to protect or position you. This reorganization will be uncomfortable, but absolutely necessary, because you can't build your future with people who are still invested in the lies of your past. Don't be surprised if the truth brings some immediate consequences that feel disruptive. When light exposes what's been hiding in darkness, there's always a moment of chaos as things that were concealed scramble to remain hidden or make excuses for being there. You might lose some people when the truth comes out, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because they can't maintain their facade in the presence of your clarity. You might have to make some hard decisions based on what you now know, decisions about who stays in your life, what opportunities you pursue, what situations you exit. These disruptions are not a sign that something went wrong with the revelation. They're proof that something went right, because truth always disrupts lies. And when you've been living in a web of deception, truth feels like an earthquake. The financial breakthrough that comes when the hidden information about your money situation is revealed will exceed what you're imagining. You're thinking maybe you'll discover one thing, a refund, an opportunity, a correction of an error. But what if it's multiple things? What if the revelation exposes not just one hidden resource, but several? What if the truth about your financial situation opens not just one door, but many? Don't limit God to your best-case scenario, because His best is always beyond your best guess. The provision that's about to be unlocked by truth could be so much more comprehensive than you're allowing yourself to hope for. And I'm telling you this now, so that when it happens, you'll recognize it as confirmation of this word, rather than dismissing it as coincidence. Your future testimony will include a specific moment within these 10 hours when the truth arrived. A phone call, an email, a conversation, a discovery, a sudden realization. You'll be able to point to that moment and say, that's when everything changed. That moment is coming, and it's coming soon. It might be dramatic and unmistakable, or it might seem small at first, but rapidly prove itself to be the key that unlocks everything else. Either way, when it arrives, you'll know it. Your spirit will confirm it. The peace that comes with truth will settle over you, and you'll understand that the 10-hour countdown was not hype or manipulation. It was a genuine prophetic timeline that God gave you, so you would be watching, waiting, and ready to receive when the revelation came. The time is now, not later, not when it's more convenient, not when you feel more prepared. Now, within these 10 hours that are already counting down. This is not a message to bookmark and return to when you have more time or more faith. This is an urgent prophetic word that requires your immediate and complete engagement, because the window is open right now. And prophetic windows don't stay open indefinitely waiting for you to be ready. Heaven has aligned circumstances, positioned people, prepared revelations, and scheduled breakthroughs specifically for this time frame. And if you disengage now thinking you can come back to it later, you may miss the exact moment when the truth was trying to reach you. The enemy wants you to believe you have all the time in the world, but that's a lie designed to make you miss the appointed hour. Remaining in a posture of vigilant expectation is absolutely critical for these next hours. You cannot receive this passively, as if the truth will find you no matter what you're doing or how distracted you are. You need to be actively watching, intentionally listening, deliberately paying attention to everything happening around you and within you. Check your phone with expectation, not just habit. Read your emails with the awareness that one of them might contain the information that changes everything. Engage in conversations with presence, not distraction, because the person talking to you might unknowingly be delivering the message you need. This active alertness is not anxiety, it's prophetic readiness, and it positions you to recognize the revelation when it arrives instead of missing it because you weren't paying attention. I need you to understand that staying connected to me during this window and beyond is not optional. It's the only way to sustain what you're about to receive. The truth that's coming will set you free. But freedom requires maintenance. Clarity can be lost if you allow confusion to creep back in. Discernment can be dulled if you stop exercising it. The breakthrough you receive in these hours will need to be protected, cultivated, and built upon through daily connection with me. This means time in my presence every day, not as religious obligation, but as relationship necessity. This means keeping your heart pure from the bitterness that will try to attach itself when you fully process how much deception cost you. This means walking in integrity even when no one's watching, because your character is the container that holds your blessing. Now, I'm asking you to take a specific action that seals everything we've talked about. Subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications. This is not about channel growth. This is about your growth. The messages that will come in the days and weeks after this 10-hour window will contain the next level instructions you need to build on the revelation you're receiving now. You're about to enter a completely new phase of your life, operating with truth instead of lies, and you'll need guidance for navigating this new territory. If you're not connected, you'll miss critical teaching that could mean the difference between sustaining your breakthrough and slowly losing ground back to confusion. The enemy wants you to think one message is enough, but breakthrough is a process, not just an event. And staying connected ensures you have access to the ongoing wisdom you'll need. Declare out loud right now, even if you're alone. In 10 hours, the truth sets me free. I receive my time-specific miracle. I am in prophetic vigilance, and my season of waiting has ended. As you speak these words, something shifts in the atmosphere around you. Angels respond to faith declarations by moving into action on your behalf. Demons recoil from confident proclamations of God's promises because they know those declarations carry the weight of heaven's agreement. And your own spirit is strengthened by hearing your mouth speak faith instead of doubt, hope instead of cynicism, expectation instead of resignation. This is not empty positive confession. This is prophetic activation where your words align with God's words and create a channel for manifestation. Now make the second declaration. What has been hidden is coming to light to bless me. Every lie is being exposed. Every truth is being revealed, and I am ready to receive all of it. I will not be afraid of the truth, no matter what it shows me, because I know that truth always leads to freedom. This declaration is crucial because some of you are actually afraid of what the truth might reveal. You're afraid it might be worse than you thought, more painful than you imagined, harder to face than you anticipated. But I'm telling you that whatever the truth reveals, it's better than living in deception. The known is always easier to deal with than the unknown. Reality, however harsh, is always preferable to illusion. And the truth, even when it's painful, always opens a pathway to freedom that lies can never provide. Finally, declare with absolute conviction, I trust the process of revelation. Even if the truth comes in a way I don't expect, from a source I didn't anticipate, with information that surprises or shocks me, I will receive it and act on it. I am aligned with God's timing. And these 10 hours are my Kairos moment. This statement positions you to receive however the revelation comes. Some of you have been so specific about how you think God should answer that you're in danger of missing his answer because it comes differently than you expected. Be open, be flexible, be ready for the unexpected. The messenger might surprise you. The method might not be what you predicted, but the message will be exactly what you need. Delivered at exactly the right time, in exactly the way that will impact you most powerfully. Before you close this message or move on to something else, I need you to do one final thing. Go to the comments right now and write, 10 hours and the truth reaches me. Don't just think it, write it. Don't just agree with it internally, declare it publicly. This written testimony serves multiple purposes. It's a covenant statement between you and God that you're receiving this word. It's a testimony to others that will build their faith when they see your declaration, followed by your testimony of manifestation. And it's a legal document in the spiritual realm that the angels use as authorization to move on your behalf. When you write those words, you're not being superstitious. You're being obedient to prophetic instruction. And obedience is always the trigger for breakthrough. These 10 hours are not arbitrary, and they're not manipulative hype. They represent a genuine window of concentrated spiritual activity over your life. From the moment you started reading this message, a countdown began in heaven. Angels have been dispatched, circumstances have been set in motion, people have been prompted, information has been prepared for release. And all of it is converging on a specific point in time when the truth will break through into your conscious awareness and change everything. You don't need to understand all the mechanics of how this works. You just need to believe it's working and position yourself to receive when it manifests. Watch your phone, check your email, pay attention to conversations, notice what crosses your path, stay alert spiritually. The revelation is coming, and it's coming within this prophetic window. The 10-hour countdown was not a gimmick to get your attention. It was a mercy to focus your expectation. Instead of telling you to just wait indefinitely for someday, God gave you a specific time frame so you would know when to be especially alert, when to watch with particular intensity, when to expect with focused faith. This specificity is a gift, not a manipulation. It channels your attention and your spiritual sensitivity into a concentrated window where you're most likely to recognize the revelation when it arrives. And when it does arrive, and you can testify that within 10 hours of hearing this message, the truth came and set you free, that testimony will build faith in others who are also desperate for breakthrough and who need to know that God still works with prophetic precision and keeps His word exactly as He speaks it. The truth that's coming for you within these hours is not just information, it's transformation. It won't just tell you what's happening, it will change what's happening. It won't just expose the lies, it will demolish their power over you. It won't just reveal your enemies, it will disarm their weapons. It won't just show you what was hidden, it will unlock what was blocked. This revelation carries an anointing of liberation that doesn't just enlighten your mind, but frees your entire life. The moment you know what you need to know, chains snap, doors open, obstacles dissolve, and pathways clear. This is immediate manifestation, not delayed gratification. This is instant breakthrough, not gradual improvement. This is now, not later. Your season of operating in darkness, confusion, and deception is over. Your time of being manipulated by lies, controlled by false information, and paralyzed by uncertainty has ended. The 10-hour countdown is not counting down to the start of your breakthrough. It's counting down to the moment when you'll consciously recognize the breakthrough that's already in motion. The truth is already traveling toward you. The revelation is already being prepared for release. The liberation is already activated. And very soon, within this window of prophetic time, it will all collide with your reality in ways so undeniable, so powerful, so precise, that you'll never again doubt whether God speaks specifically, moves intentionally, and keeps His promises exactly. Your drought of clarity is over. Your season of revelation has begun, and it's beginning right now, in these hours that will forever mark the moment when everything changed because the truth finally set you free.